We back out of the webbing of neurons and synapses as the title credits show up, winding up rising up out of a pore on the perspiration-flickered skin of the hero, our storyteller, Edward Norton, as he peers down the barrel of a firearm that has been stuck in his mouth. The firearm is held by a man named Tyler, Brad Pitt, who checks his watch, counting down to ground zero. Proceeding, he inquires as to whether the storyteller has anything to say. The storyteller murmurs through the weapon before it's eliminated and says all the more obviously that he can't imagine anything. As Tyler watches out of the great ascent window to the dull city beneath them, the storyteller reviews exactly the way in which he met Tyler prior to halting himself and carrying us to the start of the story. The storyteller lets us know he hasn't rested for quite a long time. His occupation as a voyaging item review expert for a vehicle organization doesn't help his sleep deprivation, since he should travel frequently, encountering episodes of stream slack notwithstanding the regular pressure of his situation, respecting the minuscule existence of single-serving cleanser and cleanser at each area. In the event that he can't rest, he rides the channels or peruses Fernie, a satire of IKEA, lists buying the following piece of stylistic layout to add to his loft. He's a self-declared slave of commercialization. He goes to his PCP looking for help, yet all the specialist will do is recommend a natural enhancement rather than medications, and that the storyteller visit a care group so that testicular malignant growth could see genuine agony. There, the storyteller meets Robert Bounce Paulson, meat portion, the enormous Muzi, and an ex-weightlifter and steroid client who experiences an outrageous instance of gynecomastia because of chemical treatment after his balls were taken out. Sway is very able to embrace the storyteller and help. Stuck between Sway's gigantic bosoms, the storyteller at long last discovers a sense of harmony and begins sobbing uncontrollably. The close-to-home delivery permits him to rest, and he thusly becomes dependent on help gatherings, delineating his week going to various gatherings and faking ailment. In any case, the presence of a lady named Marla, vocalist, Helena Bonham Carter, tosses the storyteller's framework messed up. He perceives her as a traveler, having seen her at numerous gatherings, including testicular malignant growth, and he is upset by her misleads where he can't rest any longer. After one gathering, he goes up against her. She contends that she's doing precisely exact thing he does and jokes that the gatherings are less expensive than a film and there's free espresso. Rather than ratting each other out, they consent to separate the week and trade numbers. Notwithstanding his endeavors, the storyteller's a sleeping disorder proceeds. On a trip back from one of his work excursions, the storyteller meets Tyler Durden. Tyler offers a novel point of view on crisis technique manuals in the plane, and they start up a relaxed discussion. Tyler is a cleanser sales rep, on the off chance that he's not filling in for late shifts as a projectionist and slipping pieces of pornography between reels. The storyteller shows up at the baggage carousel to find that his bag has been seized, doubtlessly because of a puzzling vibration, before he taxis home. Be that as it may, home, a 15th-story condo, has been impacted into the night by what was conjectured to be a broken gas line lighted by a flash from the cooler. Having no place to go, the storyteller finds Tyler's business card and hits him up. They meet in a parking area behind a bar where Tyler welcomes the storyteller to request to come live with him, on one condition, that the storyteller hit Tyler as hard as possible. The storyteller, however bewildered, consents, and they participate in a clench-hand battle prior to sharing 2 or 3 beverages. The experience is shockingly euphoric, and the storyteller and Tyler return to Tyler's weather-beaten house where obviously Tyler is hunching down. Tyler and the storyteller participate in additional battles about the next few days, and they before long draw in the consideration of other troublemakers. Finding their little battling bunch developing, Tyler lays out a formal battle club in the cellar of the bar where they had their most memorable battle. Enrollment rapidly increments, and Tyler and the storyteller design a progression of rules, the initial 2 being you don't discuss battle club. The guidelines are reliably broken, with individuals welcoming their companions to go along with them. On numerous occasions, Tyler demonstrates his keen, if irregular and corrupt, seize on life. The storyteller gets together with Marla by some coincidence, telling her that he hasn't gone to some other gatherings since he's joined another care group for men, as it were. While he actually treats her with gentle disdain, obviously he thinks about her with interest. At the point when she ingests too much Xanax, she calls the storyteller who, burnt out on her meandering aimlessly, puts the telephone down. He finds later that Tyler got the telephone, followed the call to Marla's home, and took her back to the house where they participated in vivacious sex, much to the storyteller's loathing. The following morning in the kitchen, Marla finds the storyteller, who is shocked to see her in his home. The storyteller's wonder affronts her and she leaves in disdain. After she leaves, Tyler enters the kitchen and cheerfully uncovers that he and Marla had intercourse the prior night. He likewise seriously makes the storyteller guarantee that he won't ever specify Tyler to Marla. That evening the storyteller joins Tyler while he takes human fat out of the dumpster of a liposuction facility. Tyler says that the best fat for making the cleanser he sells comes from individuals. Back in their kitchen, Tyler tells the storyteller the best way to deliver fat from the fat. In the wake of making sense of a piece about the historical backdrop of soap making, Tyler establishes a wet kiss on the rear of the storyteller's hand and dumps unadulterated lye on the spot, causing a horrendous substance consume. Tyler won't allow the storyteller to wash the lye off his hand, saying that water will demolish the consume, and lets the storyteller know that the consume is a soul-changing experience. Tyler has consumed his own hand in an indistinguishable manner. Tyler additionally powers the storyteller to acknowledge loyalty to him and afterward kills the ignite with vinegar. Afterward, when they meet with a beauty care product salesman at a retail chain, the storyteller comments that Tyler's cleanser sells at an exceptionally significant expense. With the storyteller, he holds a school dropout, June Kim, at gunpoint and takes steps to kill him in the event that he doesn't seek after his fantasy about turning into a veterinarian. He permits Lou, Peter Iacangelo, the proprietor of the bar where their battle club is held, to thrash him prior to hacking blood all over him and requesting to remain in the cellar. Stunned, Lou concurs. Tyler gives the club individuals a schoolwork task. They will all provoke a total outsider and lose. The storyteller says it's a lot harder errand than anybody would naturally suspect. Sway confronts individuals in a midtown square, another part as strange as a cleric. Following a time of days, Marla leaves and Tyler acquaints the storyteller with his most current side interest. Involving his capable abilities in cleanser making, Tyler has transformed the storm cellar of the house into a research facility where he utilizes cleanser and different fixings to make explosives. Tyler and the storyteller keep overseeing Battle Club, yet this time, at a very different recurrence. Getting flack at work, the storyteller at last defies his chief, Zach Grenner, with information about unacceptable practice and haggles to telecommute with expanded pay to keep his mouth shut. At the point when his manager items and calls security, the storyteller thrashes himself seriously so that, when security shows up, they are persuaded to think that the storyteller's supervisor attacked his worker. Tyler ultimately relegates schoolwork to his volunteers and teaches them about the burdens of commercialization and depending on society and authority figures. He proposes to return to the time where a man's worth relied upon the perspiration on his back and where he just utilized what he really wanted. This way of thinking develops into what Tyler calls undertaking anarchy, and the battling in storm cellars transforms into devilish destructive incidents and annihilation. Their activities don't be ignored, yet Tyler figures out how to show the lead agent that the very individuals he's hunting are those that they rely upon: servers, transport drivers, sewer specialists, and then some. They undermine the police boss with emasculation and the examination is cancelled. The incapacitated house where Tyler and the storyteller reside transforms into pandemonium focal, where each newcomer is put through a thorough time of inception and preparing and where the most recent plans are brought forth. While venture commotion develops, the storyteller starts to feel increasingly more far off from Tyler and envy sets in, making him venture to such an extreme as to pummel and deform one enroll, Jared Leto, since he needed to obliterate something lovely. As they leave this battle club meeting, Tyler drives the storyteller and two individuals in an enormous Lincoln Town vehicle. In the downpour, Tyler insults the storyteller, idea that he hasn't even started to carry on with his life to his fullest potential. At the point when he permits the vehicle to float into cars moving the opposite direction, Tyler reproves the storyteller for being feeble and wretched. Tyler then, at that point, concedes that he obliterated the storyteller's condo. The storyteller at last surrenders. Tyler allows the vehicle to float and they hammer head-on into another vehicle. They rise out of the disaster area with Tyler shouting that the storyteller has another daily routine in view of his experiencing through a brush with death. At the point when Tyler vanishes for some time, the storyteller is left at home with an always expanding band of commotion individuals who stare at the TV and snicker at their promoted destructive incidents. At the point when the storyteller requests to find out about their underhandedness, Bounce tells him the first rule of task pandemonium is you don't clarify pressing issues. Later Weave is killed during a messed up harm activity and the storyteller tries to disband the gathering before things gain out of influence. He attempts to find Tyler and finds a rundown of telephone numbers he has of late utilized. The storyteller trails the rundown all around the nation, finding that battle clubs have grown all over. At one specific bar, the barkeep tends to the storyteller as Sir, which prompts the storyteller to inquire as to whether he knows him. The barkeep, subsequent to being guaranteed that he's not being put through a test, lets the storyteller know that he is Tyler Durden. In shock, the storyteller gets back to his lodging and calls up Marla, inquiring as to whether they've at any point engaged in sexual relations. However bothered, Marla affirms their relationship and states that she knows him as Tyler Durden. Marla hangs up and Tyler unexpectedly shows up in the room and stands up to the storyteller, letting him know he broke his guarantee to not talk about Tyler to Marla. A couple of moments of discussion affirms that they are, to be sure, one individual. The storyteller has sleep deprivation. He can't rest in this way. At whatever point he assumes he is, or at irregular pieces of a day, Tyler's persona dominates. The revelation makes the storyteller faint. At the point when he awakens, he finds one more telephone list alongside him with brings from everywhere the country. He gets back to his home to find it totally void. However, one release board yields a presentation of organizers enumerating specific structures inside the monetary region. He observes that every one has been invaded by individuals from undertaking commotion and that Tyler is anticipating annihilating them, in this way deleting charge card organization records and starting all over again. In a frenzy, the storyteller snatches all the data and reports himself to the nearby police. In any case, in the wake of telling the overseer all that he knows and being left with two officials, the storyteller finds that the officials are commotion individuals and they let him know that they were told by him to take the chunks of any individual who disrupted undertaking mayhem, even him. The storyteller figures out how to escape by taking one of the officials' guns and rushes to one of the structures set for destruction. He finds a plain van in the parking structure loaded up with dynamite and endeavors to incapacitate the bomb. Tyler shows up and spurs him. However, the storyteller effectively incapacitates the bomb. He and Tyler participate in a furious battle which shows up strangely on the reconnaissance cameras since the storyteller is just battling himself. The Tyler character wins and reactivates the bomb, and the storyteller carries himself to another structure where they can securely watch the obliteration. Back at the initial scene, the storyteller, with the firearm in his mouth, murmurs once more and tells Tyler, "I actually can't imagine anything." Tyler grins and says, "Ah, flashback humor." The storyteller asks that Tyler leave the task. However, Tyler is resolute. He purports that what he's doing is saving humanity from the abuse of commercialization and superfluous extravagances, and that there won't need to be any setbacks. Individuals who work in the structures are all commotion individuals, totally mindful of the arrangement. Close to limit, the storyteller comes to understand that anything Tyler does, he can do. He sees Tyler with the firearm in his grasp and understands that it's in his grasp. He puts it up to his own jawline and advises Tyler to pay attention to him. He says that his eyes are open and afterward places the weapon in his mouth and pulls the trigger. The slug shoots out of the side of his jaw and Tyler is killed with a vast injury to the rear of his head. As the storyteller recuperates, individuals from Undertaking Anarchy show up with snacks and Marla close by. Tyler had recently educated her to be brought to them. Seeing Tyler's injuries, the disorder individuals abandon Marla with him to bring a few clinical supplies. Tyler remains with Marla and advises her that everything will be fine as the primary explosion touches off the structure before them. The others on the block before long go with the same pattern, and Tyler clasps Marla's hand with his and tells her, "You met me at an exceptionally weird time in my life." They watch as the explosives go off and the structures break down.